Howdy folks, great news from Ford. Today they've dropped their newest version of the Ford F-150 Lightning. That's the all-electric pickup truck that's coming soon. This is the Ford F-150 Lightning Pro, and it is their all-commercial work truck. That's right, it's a commercial truck. It is built for the work site. It is built for people who actually do work as opposed to just using it as a toy. And because of that, it's slightly different than the regular Ford F-150 Lightning. All right, for those of you who don't know what the regular Ford F-150 Lightning is, it is an all-electric version of the F-150. And let's talk about how it's built, and then we'll talk about the differences. The Ford F-150 Lightning is loosely based on the regular F-150's frame. They modified the frame, and then in between it, they sandwiched a battery. There's actually two different fully sealed batteries that are available to go in there, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what you get standard are two electric motors. Now, on the regular version, the base model, these two electric motors, you get one in the back and one in the front, meaning standard four-wheel drive. You know what else is standard? You get four-wheel independent suspension. Now, a lot of you guys are kind of curious about, can that work with towing and hauling? Well, actually, Ford has proven it before if you look at their large full-size SUVs. Now, in terms of power, Ford F-150 Lightning, all of them, the base models have combined 426 horsepower, and the beefier version has 563 horsepower. Torque, both of them have the same amount, which is 775 foot-pounds of torque. Whew, that's hard to say because that is a lot, man. So this vehicle, that much torque, base model 426 horsepower. So base model costs with the Ford F-150 Lightning Pro and the regular Ford F-150 Lightning, $39,974. That gives you a truck that has 230 miles range. That's an EPA estimate. So what about more range? Yes, it's available. You can get a larger battery, which will give you, first of all, more power, 563 horsepower, but it'll also give you the ability to use two different chargers, something else we'll talk about in a moment. But that version is $49,974, so basically a $10,000 difference between the two of them. Now, with the regular Lightning, there are other versions going all the way up to like $90,000, but we're not talking about that today. Fortunately, the Pro, that's a little bit more economically minded. So the two different versions that we talked about do have different options available. The main difference between the base truck and the XL, which is the $49,974 one, is the fact that A, it has the charging setup where the first truck, the $39,974 one, the base model has a 7.2 kilowatt charge system in the back that can be used at a work site, whereas in the XL has the one in the front as well, which is a 2.4 kilowatt output, which is in the front, which is a front trunk. And that gives you 4 outlets up front. So not only are you getting more range, but you're getting the ability to charge from the front and the back of the truck.
I interrupt this video for this week's TFL Bids Bargain. As you know, we have many cool trucks and off-road SUVs for sale, but this time it's a movie star. We're selling our very own 2004 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive. This truck appeared in our popular To Hell and Back No Payment Needed series. It's been updated with a few parts. It has a suspension lift, brand new tires. It has a 4.6 liter V8. All the details are at TFLbids.com. Use the link below, check it out. And don't forget, use the submit link to actually sell your own truck or off-road SUV on our site and have it go to a like-minded enthusiast.
Let's talk about the differences between the F-150 Lightning and the F-150 Lightning Pro. The F-150 Lightning Pro gives you a telematic system that's not available in the regular Lightning that essentially hooks you up to a commercial operator who will be able to work with a fleet of pretty much any size. Now, the cool thing is, not only does this system work with the F-150 Lightning Pro, but it also works with the Ford E-Transit. Now, it's their transit van, but it's the all-electric version of it. And they both have a similar system that'll allow all that information to be sent to an operator, and they'll be able to monitor a variety of different things. What are these different things? Well, I'm glad you asked. This system, which is unique to the F-150 Pro, basically helps the operator with logistical information, fleet operations, fleet management. It helps the driver as well because the manager can actually keep a scorecard on the driver. So if they're driving 90 miles per hour in a school zone, the operator will know about it, which is actually kind of a good thing. On top of that, all of the charging information, the truck's health, how it's doing, where it's going, all of that information is sent back to the operator who's taking care of the fleet. That works on both the E-Transit and the F-150 Lightning Pro. All of that information, by the way, is plug and play. So if you buy this vehicle, essentially, the minute you want to start using it, you don't have to upload anything. It's all there in the truck, ready to go, and it's ready to send out to your operator. And the operator will have Ford data, which will be in their computer, and they'll be able to hook right up to you and go from there. You don't have to download anything else from some other operator. It's all in-house, and it's all Ford. Okay, so the operator is able to take all that information and assign you, if necessary, where you need to go for deliveries, for pickups, for viewing, for whatever you're going to be doing at the work site. And on top of that, they'll be able to show you where the chargers are nearby. Ford is hooking up with the largest network combined in the United States for charging. So you'll be able to go and find a charger no matter where you are, according to Ford. But on top of that, it also helps with charging solutions at the work site or where your office is or where your warehouse is or at your home. Ford is working with an AC system that'll be able to fast charge your vehicle without damaging it. DC fast chargers over time can damage batteries, and Ford has found a solution to extend the longevity of a battery but still get power in there. Now, regular charging with the Ford system, you can go from 15% to 100% in about 8 hours. And this is at-home charging. So they're looking at the fact that you will most likely be taking your work truck home and living with it and then taking it back and forth to work. The cool thing is that the person who's taking care of operations can actually monitor that and see what you're doing in terms of charging. Now, I know some of you guys don't like the Big Brother thing, but remember, this is for fleets, and it actually makes an awful lot of sense because you're able to look at where everybody is, by the way, also in terms of maps and where they're going and what the weather conditions are and all that, and it makes it a lot more efficient for a fleet. Now, let's talk about fleet efficiency because that's something that Ford brushed on as well. An electric vehicle has already been proven to be far less costly for short-term maintenance. Think about it. You don't have oil changes. You don't have to worry about a transmission. You don't have to worry about several moving parts. Electric EV systems in general have fewer moving parts. As such, a majority of the components are modular. They can be removed and replaced fairly easily, but also in terms of longevity, other than perhaps battery wear, most things in that vehicle should last an awful long time. And if you look at a large fleet, that could be something that's fairly affordable and might help you on the long and short-term finances of those vehicles. Ford says that you'll start making money off the truck right away. Of course they're going to say that, but it does make some sense. Okay, so let's talk about just a couple other things before we're done, and the fact that this truck is built to haul and tow. Bet you're wondering about that. Well, just like the Ford F-150 Lightning, the F-150 Lightning Pro has the ability to have a payload of up to 2,000 pounds. That's with the small battery, but if you get the larger battery, it drops a little bit to 1,800 pounds. Obviously, weight is the issue here. Now, towing. The vehicle has a tow rating of up to 10,000 pounds. All right, so now you're wondering, I bet, what about range, hauling, and towing? Well, Ford has the available Onboard Scale. Now, if you work with this system between that and what is available in the truck in terms of its telematics system, it is able to figure out what your range is based on what you're towing and where you're going, even on the weather. Let me give you an example. If you're towing a box trailer of some sort that weighs, say, 4,000 pounds using this truck, and you're going up and over Vail Pass, as an example, it'll be able to figure out from the point that you hooked up your trailer and to where your destination is, how much you're going to use in terms of power. And also tell you where the local charge point is or other place that you can go and hook up and charge. Very important to keep that in mind. So when you're going up and over this terrain, it'll figure out how much that trailer weighs because it has an onboard scale, how much your overall payload is, by the way, and it'll know that its drag and aerodynamic qualities and how much that will hold you back and how much that'll drain. And it'll be able to figure out over that route, okay, normally 230 miles, let's say, well, you drop to, let's say, 125 miles. Okay, up and over that route. Now you have X amount of miles to go find a charger or drop off your load if necessary. These are the things that this system can do. And I actually really liked that because when we tried towing with an electric vehicle before, this was a Tesla, it didn't go so well. This is something that is sort of predictive, and it'll be able to give you that information up front so you know exactly what you can do with the load you're pulling. So there you go. Now the Ford F-150 Lightning Pro will be available in the spring of 2022. Once again, the base price is going to be $39,974 for the 230-mile model and $49,974 for the 300-mile model. On top of that, that model actually has a lot more to it, including 2 chargers. By the way, if you were wondering, basically the body and cab of this vehicle, very similar to a regular F-150, 5-foot, 5-inch bed. You have a cabin that can hold up to 5 people comfortably, but the Pro has a vinyl interior that is, according to Ford, easy to clean. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, guys, well, I really appreciate you joining me. The Ford F-150 Lightning Pro, it's going to be a bargain basement version of the Lightning, but with lots of the same goodies that that vehicle has. I'm looking forward to it because I don't go to work sites, but I do go to campsites, and this thing will be able to power a campsite for like 3 days, and that's with crazy usage, which I'm excited about. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.